from now on in my car.
When I'm in, what do you got, a Journey channel on the XM?
CD Journey, and you're listening to it.
This is the 31st Lap Podcast, recorded live in the studios of FingerLakes1.com in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now, your hosts, Rich Post, John Bonas, Mike Mallet, and Chris Marquardt.
Okay, and welcome to Take Two. This is the 31st lap, trying again, live from the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls. You still got problems over there?
Hey, check your plug-in. See if it's plugged in.
Make sure everything's plugged in over there. You should be okay. I don't see why you wouldn't be.
Unplug it and plug it back in.
It doesn't matter. You can hear us outside it anyway.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
You got it?
Now we got it.
Look at
Oh,
that.
he's got it.
We got it.
We got it.
Okay, well.
That's what happens when you sit on the court.
And we're back.
I'm not sitting on it.
And we're back. We made sure that everything is up and running the right way this time around.
Sweet.
John's here. Mike's here. I see
Yo.
Tiny Mod is excited that Mike's here, and Sonny's online with us. We got Rich. He didn't have a birthday today, so he was able to make his way out. Boy's got more Thursday birthdays than I've ever seen or heard about.
I didn't know you had 17 kids.
Neither did
None of them
He's
are.
got more-
I've only got two legitimate. The 17.
He's
my
got
wife
more
doesn't know
Thursday
about.
birthdays.
When'd you start
than
playing in the
Thursdays
NBA?
Calendar.
No worries.
Sorry,
no
I
worries
couldn't help
about
it. I
that.
couldn't resist myself on the NBA joke.
I can't shoot or jump.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that is a Boston hat. You got that right. Somebody is asking in the live chat already.
Hey, look,
Tonight,
I wore my Yankee winter hat
we're
today.
coming to you from the
Good, good.
FingerLakes1.com
Boston
studios in downtown Seneca Falls. Thanks for joining us.
Lavish.
We're streaming live on FingerLakes1.com. Follow the links to see this show. As it happens, we've got a stack show tonight. Lots of fun, lots of banter. We're going to catch up with Greg Hodnett, Mike's man crush. He's on the show tonight.
That's all right.
And
He is, I will say it, that's my favorite driver.
Chris.
there's no discussion about it whatsoever.
None, zero. That is like I root for a lot of different guys, that I like. We had the conversation last week. Who is your favorite driver? And of course, if I'm talking sprint cars, when I travel, it's fun to watch Greg Hodnett. I enjoy watching him. And that goes back to when I was first started getting into sprint car racing. Before I was riding or anything like that, I was going to Williams Grove, and he drove the Apple car. And I always thought that was just a sweet-looking car because it had a huge apple with a smiley face on it on the wing. I love that car.
You have one of those wings yet?
No, that is one wing I don't have. That someday, my goal is to get. I got to get one of those.
I'll bet I've seen him do something you haven't seen him. I'll bet you've never seen him run.
The one-up game I alluded to.
Here it comes.
The 410 sprint car without a wing.
Where'd you see that at?
Eldora?
No, I've never seen that. And I'm fortunate because I don't really want to watch anything without a wing.
He ran the Mopar Thunder, the USAC Mopar.
Oh, did he run it without a wing?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, ask him about that. You can. You like that stuff, so we'll bring that up too.
That was in 2004, I believe.
Yeah. I've seen him win a lot of races. I've seen him win a National Open. I've seen him start on the front row of the Knoxville National. So, I've seen some cool stuff. I'm a fan. Don't worry, in the sprint car game, I'm always the Apple car. I love that car. Love it.
We've also got Mike Lichty going to be on.
That's right.
ISMA Champion and indoor TQ Midget winner from down in Baltimore. Mike's going to have a full recap of that race a little bit later on.
Yeah.
Do we get the recap of the ride down?
It was a good weekend.
Bombas and I had the ride down. I'm not recapping that because it was pure and utter hell for me. Other than, let's just say I had
hell. It wasn't hell.
Whoa. I had a physical ailment that made it hell.
What?
Okay? Because let's just say...
Do we want to even ask?
I will not get into detail, but let me tell you.
He owns stock in Cottonelle now.
Yeah. and the places that we had to stop, God help me. I got a tetanus shot as soon as I got home.
And we
it was awful.
Immediately.
Well, it was awful. Boy. It was a fun trip, though. Overall, we'll highlight that after we talk to Greg.
Yeah, we got
before we get to Mike Lichty.
Yeah, we got a couple of minutes. We did get a bit of a late start. We appreciate everybody hanging in there with us, and hopefully these levels and everything are set the way that they need to be. And thankfully, John can hear us because he's the oldest and the worst hearing of everybody. Quick programming note: we got all sorts of. Okay, that's like almost programming note. Next week we are going to have Mike's other. Maybe like
no. This is a guy that I enjoy watching race because he's good, and we got to watch him in Pennsylvania. We were able to get a hold of Darren Pittman. We're going to talk about his change to Casey Kane Racing.
How great is that going to be?
And his 2013, and we also got John.
Let John.
Former Casey Kane Racing driver Brady Bacon will be on the show next week too.
John's man crush.
Broken Arrow, Oklahoma.
Yep.
Actually, 2 Oklahoma natives.
Yeah, Owasso, Oklahoma. It'll be the Oklahoma
coolest,
Hour.
The coolest hometown ever.
Yeah,
Broken
Owasso.
Arrow.
I like Owasso, Oklahoma. That's where Pittman's
They're all
from.
in the same area.
Broken Arrow's where Stevie's from now. Stevie Smith, too.
They're all suburbs of Tulsa.
Yep.
What goes on in Tulsa again?
Oh, God.
They do a race out there or something?
Yeah, there's some sort of...
Can we get through 3 minutes of a show without John mentioning the Chili Bowl?
We don't have to. It's on his hat.
I know.
Not this time of year.
It's on his hat. It's on his sweatshirt.
And his sweatshirt.
He wore every Chili Bowl thing he had down in Baltimore. We had fun.
I had one shirt.
Baltimore's a great city.
He wore one shirt all
Yeah,
the
time.
Rich was working the phones earlier today, and he banked somebody else for next week.
What'd you get?
You got Rolf is going to be on.
Rolf Schnur.
And he's got something going on this week coming up.
He's got a webinar.
The webinar.
On what?
And it's doing on how to present for sponsorship.
Oh, that's cool.
And he works with drivers, and the guy's been involved in signing $1 million sponsor contracts. And
can you get him to help us out?
Yeah, he just took the words out of my mouth.
He's
no, we can't.
No.
I don't think we can afford.
Yeah.
To go there. I mean,
right.
he's but
dude,
but
can you imagine if we got $1 million sponsorship for this? We could take this show on the road.
You know what? No, I can't imagine if we got $1 million.
Yeah, because it'll never happen. Dude, we could take our Winnebago, pop the side open, have a live show every race we wanted to go to.
Yep,
that'd be sweet.
We wouldn't even have to get out of the Winnebago.
You know what? I'll dream.
The week after.
Okay, I'm done.
The week after that, we're going to be off, and then January 3rd, it looks like we're going to try and track down somebody from out at the Eldora Speedway. January 17th is going to be an IMCA modified special. We're going to have a whole bunch of different bodies in here from IMCA and talk about multiple aspects, both on the local and on the national IMCA level. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Kevin Cook, one of the champions with IMCA, is going to be in studio along with one other driver. We got to work out the rest of the logistics.
Capacity crowd on hand.
It's gonna be cool.
I might have another birthday.
A lot of good stuff coming up.
Well, I want
at least somebody
to talk about too.
Yeah, I was talking with Chris. We were chit chatting about one of the things I'd like to ask him is, or just get into people in New York have not accepted IMCA. We just don't. I mean, we just don't. I don't. I mean, I can say that I'm biased towards our modifieds. But, I mean, you go anywhere else in the country,
and that's the modified.
That's the modified. That's what people they love those things.
Whether it's IMCA or even the UMP or BMod, whatever.
Whatever
however you refer to it, it's essentially the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess up here in New York, the Northeast, we are
what we are, man. We're big block modifieds.
Snobby about big block modifieds.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll say I'm even more snobby.
Are you a sprint car?
I'm a sprint car snob. To quote Johnny Gibson. See, I got 2 guys with wings tonight because ISMA runs a wing too. So I was like, yeah.
Yes, they run a wing that moves.
That wing is awesome.
I'm not a big fan of cars with wings, but when they're making it move, it's
awesome.
It almost interests me.
Well, it's something with hydraulics, like when they let off the. Who did we talk? Joey Payne, right? Wasn't it Joey Payne that explained it to us? We hung out with him this weekend too. He was a good time.
People explain it to me. Yeah, Otto explained it to me one time too. Because I always, at first, years ago when I first saw that, I always thought the driver would
had to flick it. Yeah,
that's a lot of work.
Yeah. You're going almost 200 miles an hour, and then you got to mess with the wing.
To be honest with you, the first time I saw it, I thought, the first guy that went into the corner, I thought he broke. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah,
and then I'm watching the train go into the corner, and every single one of them, like,
and it's basically 4 times a lap because it'll go. You go down the straightaway, it'll flatten out. You go in the corner, it'll angle again.
Yeah, and then
it'll come out of the next corner,
flattens out again
down the next straightaway, and back into the third corner or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's an easy.
So it's like 4 times a lap. It's moving back and forth. And
it's fun to watch.
It is.
I do enjoy going to Oswego and seeing the wings. I will say that. I'm not a pavement guy, but I do like that.
Those things will suck the helmet right off your head.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Those things move.
I'm sure. It's so. You want to get guest number 1 on the phone? We're already there because we were a little late on the time frame. So
I don't know if we're going to be able to
shut up and get on the phone. Get over there.
Jeez.
we were a little late on
the uptake.
Yeah, but
a couple minutes behind. Well, we started, then we stopped, then we started again.
It was a minute. Yeah,
that's all right. It happens.
We started. I tried to do the right thing and start at 7:14, so everything was up and running right at 7:15.
Yeah, no.
And
so you goofed it up. Started.
Yeah, come on. We always make mistakes. Come on, we're not perfect here.
Man, I ended up moving the concrete block just like in that photo.
Oh man, yeah. We'll talk. Well, we can mention it now. Eric Rudolph. Whew. What a crash. We'll mention it a little bit more later, but that was...
It was like right underneath me because I was sitting on that end of the racetrack.
Holy cow.
In Baltimore, and with the overhang of where I was, I couldn't actually see him hit it, but I heard it.
Oh, yeah. I saw a hit, and it was a ton. I've never seen a car hit a wall that hard in indoor racing. The throttle stuck, and bam!
I heard it, and it didn't sound good.
It ripped a hole right front.
I know I watched him climb out of the car.
Dash.
He got out of the car.
And he was shaking his head around.
Yeah, he was. He
was a little wobbly.
That's one of those situations where, fortunately, he was running a Hans device. So that was
definitely
that was good.
He definitely rung his bell there.
So do you want to get a little background here on the guest we got coming on? Greg Hodnett was the 2012 Williams Grove Speedway Track Championship, his first for John Trone, and John Trone, his car owner's first career track title in the Trone Special 39. So that was a big accomplishment there.
Dean has supplied a picture, by the way.
Dean supplied a picture.
Yep,
who took it?
Sent it. I don't know who took it.
Better be one of my dads. I'm being a homer. No, that's okay.
It's the Trone car, though.
It is the Trone car.
I was half hoping that he was going to send the Apple car picture. But,
I know that would have been sweet, but that's okay. No, that's okay. The Trone car's the one he drives. So
it was the Apple car that he was driving when he drove wingless at Eldora.
Was it? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, he drove that car. I can't remember who owned that car though. That was a while ago. And then he drove for Al Hamilton, and then he drove for Jim and Sandy Klein. So he's driven for the the big teams in Pennsylvania, and he's I believe he's third now on the all-time win list at Williams Grove. He made that over 50 wins. So. I'll take it. That's a pretty good career,
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
So it'll. I'm excited. Obviously one of my favorite guys to talk to, and I think that's part of the reason why I like him so much too. He's always a good interview, whether he has a good night or bad night or anything like that. He's always a guy that you can go talk to, and he'll give you the time of day and not yell at you. I've had a few guys yell at me. When you're
unfortunately for everybody,
way to go,
everybody
Rich.
home
Thanks,
can't see this. Rich comes in from the from out back where
he's
we
like,
got
nope.
phone calls from. He comes in shaking his head no, and the look on Mike's face for a split second was he turned pale white. You couldn't even...
You're a jerk, Rich.
Man.
Yeah, I know. You've been called a lot worse, I'm sure. So
Wrong number.
Yeah, wouldn't be the first time I've given you the wrong phone number, would it?
No, it wouldn't.
Well, joining us here on the line now, the 2012 Williams Grove Speedway Track Champion, Greg Hodnett. And Greg, thanks for taking time out of the day to be on our show.
Hey, it's no problem. I appreciate you guys having us on.
Well, Greg, take us through 2012. Obviously, impressive season down at the Williams Grove Speedway. You won a track championship in the past with Jim and Sandy Klein. What did it mean to get one for John Trone?
It meant a great deal, not only for ourselves, but for John individually. He and his family have been in racing for, since the 40s. His dad raced, my mechanic, Lee Stauffer. His father actually, as a teenager, worked on the Trone Special cars back in the 50s. So it means a lot for the heritage of the Trone family tradition to be able to get a track championship there. They've never been able to do that, even though they've been racing for so long. So it was nice to be able to get that for them. He and his family, John's mom's still around. She's 92, and she was real happy about it. She comes to the races and goes in the victory lane with us. So it was good for their family. Obviously, it's good for us. But it was real special to just get one for the Trone family.
How tough is it to win a Williams Grove track title? Considering early in the year, you did not qualify there early in the year, and then you go to Knoxville every year. So you're losing some races because of that. How tough is it to win that Williams Grove title?
It's tough for us because we never put an emphasis on it. Like you said, the first race of the year we blew a motor in the heat race in a qualifying position and a handicapped a position to have a redraw or whatever, and unfortunately we just felt that it didn't warrant starting last in a B main and trying to kill our stuff to even get in the show. So at that point in time in the season, we just said, we're not going to worry about it. Well, then by the time maybe May comes around, other guys have a few issues and you're leading the points, so it's kind of like, well, all right, we're in a position now, maybe we should try to build enough of a point lead to be able to pad it to go to Knoxville and maybe Eldora. Well, we decided just to skip Eldora to try to win this championship for John because we were in the position to, and we had enough of a lead to go to Knoxville. So it kind of is dictated by how things are going through the season, at least for us, just because we know we're going to miss a few races, and it's very difficult to make that up. But we've been fortunate to be able to do it a couple different times.
This year, winningest driver in Central Pennsylvania, you doubled your win total. What was the difference from this year to last year? It seemed like last year it took you guys a little bit of time to gel and get things together, and then you got kind of on a roll midway through the season. This year it seemed once you got going again, your car was unbelievable each week in and week out.
I think it was just trying to get things squared away. We had a different motor program that we had to get used to. We had been with Jim and Sandy, another motor builder, for a few years, and we kind of knew the gearing and the things that it liked, so we had to kind of get that readjusted. And we found some things towards the end of the year that we got going pretty decent. Then we went to Florida actually with a totally different car, thinking we're going to make it all even better, and we were way worse and struggled with it for about the first 13 races. And as soon as we brought the car back from the end of the year before, I think we ran third with it the first night, won the next two, pretty much in the top three. We finished in top three pretty much all the time. So we just went back to what we were doing. The tires were pretty consistent. By the third year on the good years, we kind of got a feel for what we wanted and what I wanted and how to drive them and how to set them up. So we were pretty comfortable at the end of last year. And once we went back to that, we just kind of started running more consistently than anybody else, I guess, is the biggest thing. And that's what, obviously that's what wins you points championships.
Now, you bring up the tires. Everybody's going to Hoosiers. Are you excited to see the change back to Hoosiers, or were you comfortable on the Goodyears?
I don't think the Goodyears were as good of a tire as far as for the way they make the car feel to you, but because I think it didn't have the, I don't know if you want to say the stick and the drive, maybe that the Hoosiers did, it made it more difficult for a lot of people that don't adjust, maybe the way they drive or the way they set up the car. So for me, I think it maybe have been in it, even though I don't think it's a better tire. I think it's just may have been an advantage for us because I think my crew chief, Lee Stauffer, is pretty adaptable. I can be fairly adaptable driving-wise, and I think it just worked out that we were able to adapt and some other guys weren't. And so I think it may have been an advantage for us. I don't think it, if everybody's on the same stuff, I don't really think it matters. Mm-hmm. You just have to be cognizant of tires and what they want and what they don't like and how you can drive them and how you can't and what the wear situation is and what you can get away with and what you can't. And once you kind of figure all that out, it's pretty much the same for everybody. It seems like the guys that, for whatever reason, Donnie Schatz can win the National Nationals on Hoosiers, Goodyears, and probably on 3 tires if he wanted to. So it just seems like the guys that go good no matter what the rules are. So we're kind of hoping it stays that way and we can kind of pick up where we left off last year, and hopefully the tires don't make that much of a difference.
You reached some milestones this year at Williams Grove. You moved up on the all-time win list, got the 50th win. To you personally, what's that mean to you?
It means a lot, actually. I mean, I've been told the first couple times I was there, I was told by one of my mechanics that a crew chief that, man, you stink at Williams Grove. So it's a little vindication to be able to say, well, I might not be that bad after all, because we're able to be competitive at Williams Grove, which is a tough racetrack to be competitive at, week in and week out, and I've been calling up that list, and I wouldn't say a short amount of time, but, I'd say I think I got here at the end of 98, so, a good 12, 14 years of running, in a fairly limited amount of time. I've been fortunate enough to be with teams and crew chiefs that have been able to, I guess, excel, as much as anybody for that amount of time. And it's nice to be able to be a little bit vindicated and say, well, I guess I'm all right there. And so it's kind of nice.
You mentioned coming to Pennsylvania. What got you to PA? I mean, we know you drove the Apple number 12, but what made you make that decision or brought you to be a full-time Central PA and now obviously part of the posse?
Actually, victim of circumstance. At the time, I was driving for the Selma Shell car, Dave Helm, the 11H, and they fired me and hired Tim Schaefer, and Tim was driving the 12 car at the time, and we basically just switched drives. It was what was available at the time, and we hit it off pretty well. I think there at the end of the year we won. In 98, we struggled for a little bit and actually brought out a Maxim, which I had been running for, Chuck Merrill at Maxim for a while. And we brought one out, and I don't know, I think we won if it wasn't the first night out, it was a couple nights after that. We won, I think, a Williams Grove All-Star race, the Williams Grove National Open. I think we ran third at the Williams Grove National Open, won the Sharon Nationals, won both nights at Tuscarora 50, all at the end of the 98 season. And we just kind of gelled and kind of worked from there. And it just kind of, you know, it was working. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I figured, well, I might as well stay with these guys. We're running good, so we'll just keep doing that.
Now, I know you've won the National Open. You've won some big races, you know, on the road. What's it going to take to get a Knoxville Nationals crown under your belt, other than maybe Donnie Schatz's blowing a motor or something like that in the A-Main?
Well, honestly, you joke about that, but right now he is head and shoulders above anybody there. I'll be honest with you. And guys like, you know, Shane Stewart and you know, Jason Myers and a couple other guys that Joey Saldana has run second. You know, the guys have been running in the top five. They've been running in the top five for 3 or 4 years. But, you know, even Brian Brown had a great run this year. And I think the biggest thing for us is it's been so long since I've run more than that one time a year at Knoxville. I know when I came here with Lee back in '98, we were running 4 or 5 times in Knoxville a year, and I really had a good feel for the track and what I wanted, and we always made the race. And, you know, running I think we were on the front row with Lee and I were once or twice, and even with Jim and Sandy, I think we started second or third that one year. So, but it just seems like we're not, when it comes race time, when to move and all that kind of stuff, the things that I pretty much know what to do, when to do it at Williams Grove, you know, in the later stages of races, I just don't really have a good feel for there. So I think the biggest thing that's going to happen is we need to get out there more. Mm-hmm. We've talked about maybe having a car out there and taking a couple weekends a year and just giving up like points championships or worrying about anything back here, to do something like just go out there and run some weekends, either outlaw races or just local races, just to get some seat time out there, because the guys that seem to be doing well, you know, like the Shane Stewarts and Sammy, and with the exception of Schatz, they run the 360 National before that, the week before, they run 3 nights, and then they run the next week at the Nationals, and seem to be in tune with what they, you know, with what's going on. And I think that's our biggest disadvantage is my lack of, not that I don't remember what I want to do, it's just the feel doesn't come as naturally as it did when we were running out there 4 or 5 times a year.
Again, chatting with Greg Hodnett here on the 31st lap. Greg, we know you did some traveling. You came up to our neck of the woods. We're located here in central New York. What'd you think of the tracks here in New York? You know, you came to Utica Rome. You were at Brewerton. You got Fonda. What do you think of central New York, and how different is it for you to come up here and race on our tracks as compared to racing at home?
It's very different. Your dirt's way different, and we had to go make wholesale changes to even get remotely close, and we weren't even that close. I think the dirt is way different. It's a shinier, I don't know if it's slick. It's slick, but it's a different kind of slick. So we really, I'll be honest with you, we really struggled just because we just couldn't get a feel. We kind of do the things we do here, and it just didn't work. You know, we had talked to a good friend of ours from DMI, Dave Ely. He runs a lot of URC stuff. I think he did some ESS stuff up there, 360 stuff, and he says, man, you just can't do what you guys do here. When I say here in Pennsylvania, and we're like, yeah, okay, we'll figure it out. But by the time we get up there and struggle, we're just making weird to us, not weird to, I would say, the whole sprint car community, but stuff that we normally don't have to do, we were doing, and it just, it was a bit of a struggle for us. I think, I don't know, we ran 4th or 1, and, you know, top 3 or 4, something like that, and the one place I think I ran over everything but the pace truck, Brewerton. I think that's the smaller one.
Yeah, that's the small one.
So, yeah, I think I hit about everything on the racetrack that night, but other than doing all that kind of stuff, I think we still came from the back up to 5th or 6th because I ran over somebody and spun out. And it was good racing. It was good to get away and do some different things and have some different feels. But it was a bit of a challenge, I'll be honest with you. So if we wouldn't have struggled so bad, I liked it more. But it was kind of nice to get away and see something different.
Do you miss being on the road? You travel with the Outlaws, and you have your outlaw victories and things like that, and now you're kind of settled in central Pennsylvania. Do you miss the travel that comes with it, or do you enjoy knowing that every weekend I'm going to be here, and here?
No, I actually like being. It's not so much here, and here. It's we're very spoiled. I guess I'm very spoiled for that matter. I can leave my house at 5:30 on a Friday and race at Williams Grove, and not have to. And it sounds lazy, but not have to put in a lot of time to even get to races. I mean, there's guys traveling 8, 9, 10, 12 hours just to race. I got to travel 20 minutes. So it's easy. It's not easy. I'm not saying racing around here is easy, but everything that consists of going to races is way easier to do it this way than on the road and traveling across the country 4 times. And I mean, the racing part, being on the road, yeah, I do miss that part of it, because you get to see a different track, you get to see all kinds of conditions, that type of thing. But everything that goes along with it, all the travel, all the expenses, it's hard unless you have a year like Donnie Schatz where you win whatever $200,000 in 2 races. Yeah. It's hard to make money because your expenses are so much higher. Mm-hmm. And I have a family and an extended family here that I get to spend a lot of time with, and and I sleep in my own bed probably 95% of the nights of the year. So I have it pretty good. I'll be honest with you. I'm not saying I'm spoiled, and I'm not lazy, and I don't mind working and traveling. It's just, I don't know, for the situation I'm in at this point in my life, I think this is just fine.
Do you think is that the appeal that why so many guys come here? Like Darren Pittman. He was here for a while. Now obviously he's off with Casey Kane. Justin Henderson. Paul McMahon's been running a little bit more in Pennsylvania. Is that why guys come here and run in Pennsylvania? Just because it's nice to be close to home, and the money honestly isn't that bad.
Now, I don't know that it's nice to be close to home, because most of those guys don't live here.
Right.
I think what it is, it's the next best option to being on the road with the World of Outlaws. Financially, our car probably made as much as probably the 5th guy in the Outlaw thing this year, but I had probably 1/5 of the expenses. So from a financial gains, it's really the only other game in town that you can actually race enough, even though you don't race for as much. You can race enough to sustain a livelihood here, or you can go maybe to the Midwest and do like a Brian Brown, who he races Knoxville some and Houston, and then goes to wherever he's got to travel a lot more to get his number of races up to be able to sustain a living and making driving a race car. So I think that's part of the reason it's here, because we do have races. We have a lot of races. I think we raced probably 80 times at least, which is probably more than the Outlaws do. Now, we don't run for as much all the time, so you have to, where you don't get quality, maybe you have to do quantity. And this is one of the few places in America that sprint car racers can run enough and can earn enough to sustain a living driving a sprint car. So without being on the Outlaw Tour, I think this is probably the next best alternative.
A couple more questions for you, Greg, then we'll let you go. Other than the Knoxville Nationals, what's one race, that you want to win that you haven't won yet? Like I mentioned, you won the National Open, you've won the Tuscarora 50, you've won those races. What's one race that you go to that you want to win and, per se, get off that bucket list?
Really, the Knoxville Nationals is about as high as obviously you can get. Now, again, besides that one, I don't know. I mean, we've fortunate enough to win a lot of the bigger races around here, the local ones anyway. Knoxville Nationals, and not just me, like Lee, his dad won it with Kenny Weld, I think in 72 or 73. So it'd be nice. I mean, that's something that he wants pretty bad. That's a pretty main focus of ours right now. Obviously, I'm not getting younger. He's not getting younger. The opportunities are probably not going to be there forever, you know, by any stretch of imagination. They're obviously not going to be. So really that's a pretty major one right there. And anything else, I'll be honest with you, it pretty much pales in comparison to that. So that's one of the things we have to we are striving for and talking about every day, how to get better and do whatever we need to do to get better there. So that's pretty much priority number one. Everything else, yeah, we have to win to make a living. So anytime we go to a racetrack, it's a priority. It's one that we need to win. But I'd say the Knoxville National is definitely the big one that we need to get crossed off.
What did you think of the new qualifying format? You know, where they give you the mulligan and you can start all over on Friday night if you want to.
I think it was interesting. You know, for a guy, you know, it actually worked out to perfection for a guy, you know, like Dale Blaney, who was actually parked literally right next to us when he burned up his motor in hot laps the qualifying night. You know, otherwise, if he, from a fan's perspective and for his perspective, to be honest with you, he would have just loaded up and went home. And the fans at the Knoxville Nationals would probably not have seen him run, or maybe Justin Henderson or a couple of those guys that did qualify. You know, Cody had a big crash, and, you know, sure they would have run, but, you know, it would have been a much different Nationals for a lot of guys. You know, it depends on where you're sitting. I mean, if I was Dale Blaney, I would think it was the greatest format in the world. But if I'm, I don't know, just say the guy who was, whatever, 18th or 19th overall in points, and now he had to run the B main and had to make that choice, you know, then I'd say, man, that really kind of messed us up, because we really earned the right to be there. But because of the new format, now we don't get that opportunity and have to probably kill ourselves and get into the B main. And I'll be honest with you, we were right on the edge of that, because I don't know where we started in the B main, 5th or something like that, and needed to be, actually we were 3rd, needed to be in the top 4 and had a motor go south on us. But you know, that was part of it. If I didn't have to run that B main, we would have been in the A main, and we still would have had that problem. Don't get me wrong, because we broke something in the motor, but you know, we would at least made the show. So, you know, it depends on how you want to look at it. We could, it's an advantage for some and disadvantage for others, but it did make it a bit more interesting.
Well, Greg, don't want to keep you too much longer, but we always like to give everybody that comes on the show a chance to thank their sponsors, and also send out, if you got a website, your web address, Facebook, all of that stuff, so that way fans can keep in touch with you.
Yeah, I think on Facebook it's Greg Hodnett. I think it's a fan page. I actually don't run it. A friend of ours does. And Greg Hodnett Motorsports.com. And, of course, our sponsors is my owner, John Trone. His company, Trone Outdoor Trone Outdoor, the company that owns the cars, Trone Outdoor Motorsports. Of course, Eagle Steel, Eagle Evergreens, Macri Concrete, Apple Chevrolet, H&H General Excavating, and all kinds of product people. You can go, Rob Capetta does our motors, VRP shocks. Of course, Kaiser Wheels, DMI, who I spoke of earlier, Dave Ely there, all our rear ends and stuff, hubs, front hubs, things like that. Of course, Maxim chassis, we've been running those for, been very fortunate, been running those for about 15 years, so had really good luck with that stuff. So all our product people, all our sponsors, they're really good for us. They do a lot of good things for us, and we really appreciate those guys.
Well, Greg, thanks again for coming on the 31st lap. We do appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you in Florida here real soon.
Yep. All right, man. We'll talk to you guys later.
Have a good one.
Thanks.
Nice talk, Greg.
Go ahead.
You know what my favorite part of the interview was? He mentioned URC and ESS. He mentioned 360 Sprint Car Racing. That was awesome.
Cool was that?
That was awesome.
Everybody on Live Chat caught it.
Did they?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah,
that was real cool.
Dean's hanging out with us.
Dean was excited, right? Did Dean?
Well, that's actually wasn't what I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
Dean's hanging out with us in there, and Sonny beat him to it.
That's awesome. That is awesome. But no, that was good. That was good. Dean just sent me a picture of the Apple car.
He sent you?
Yeah. So
he's got it up on the 31st Lap Facebook. He's got both
already
of them up there
already.
now.
Sweet,
yeah.
Sweet. That's awesome.
And he also took some time out of his busy work schedule to send those on to Jim. So one of those two pictures.
Nice.
We don't know which. It'll be a surprise for you.
All right. That's awesome. But no, I like Greg. You can tell he likes to joke a little bit too and have some fun. So, and
do you want to just shut the show off now?
No, I'm good. I'm good. You know what stinks?
Greg.
I like Greg.
We would have never.
I'm
guessed.
a big fan of Greg Hodnett, so that was cool.
And
Dean asked me to ask him. I didn't want to keep going, but Dean wanted me to ask him about the Kick It Kickball tournament. He did have 2 RKIs runs kicked in the Kick It Kickball tournament, so I made sure I took care of that. And if you watch my blog from that weekend, I actually put him playing kickball and a bunch of other drivers up in the blog. So
and we could have kept him on for another 20 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, I could have kept him
on. No, I think Mike could have kept him on until next week.
I know. I'm terrible with that, but.
I just let you go because I know you were waiting.
Well, next week when Brady's on,
I would have asked him about the
wingless show at Eldor
wingless experience because I don't know that he's ever run
wingless
a show other than that.
Yeah,
one.
I haven't seen him in any of the the USAC swings. I don't think he's run any of that.
Maybe he realized it wasn't all that much fun.
Yeah, well, that's why I wanted to ask him.
But you know what? When we had ESS, those guys ran wingless. You could tell that they were just no.
When you run with a wing,
my cup of tea.
He actually did well that day.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, he started in
he finished,
if you look back to what he ran like a form of a modified sprint car kind of thing when he started in Tennessee racing. It looks like one of our older modifieds, but I'm pretty sure it's a sprint car chassis. So if you look back on his website, he's got some old photos of how his racing career started and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's pretty interesting to look at the old cars that he drove. They call it like some kind of modified. I can't remember what it was called, but he started something like that. So he's got some experience, with that stuff.
Lord only knows what they got down there in Tennessee.
Yeah, I know. And everywhere you go, it's got their own.
A little bit of
Texas. Was it Texas, Louisiana, and
Arkansas have winged modifieds. Winged
modifieds.
What
do they call those things? Lexarkana. What is it?
Something like that. Yeah,
it's a weird name.
Yeah, you ever seen those?
The Texarkana modified,
or something like that. Yeah, and there was a guy. There was a guy running like an old Billy Decker car with a wing on it.
Yeah,
he bought it from up here and he was running it down there. Those were pretty neat. So that's a race we got to go see. That's next on the list. I got to go see one of those.
I got a lot of other things on my bucket list.
Well, you know what though?
I'm going to stop at the Chili Bowl before I worry about anything in Texas.
See, I've seen midgets. I want to see those cars. That's what I want to see because it's like a hybrid. It's a modified and a wing on top.
It's something to see that's different.
And for me, that's awesome. I mean, that would be the perfect combination.
I'd be going to the Tulsa Shootout or the Short Track Nationals.
Yes, I know. I know.
So,
you would.
So, Chris, how's Dean feel about his new Hall of Fame edition?
Well, you just asked him.
I know. That's what I'm getting at.
Because we are now the Empire Super Sprint Hall of Fame is now in the Dirt Motorsports Hall of Fame.
Yep.
We have our own little section in there.
I saw a picture.
I was going to tell Jay if he ever needs any wing panels. Just for the exhibit. I have some ESS ones.
We are psyched.
We are psyched.
And tell Dean if we need wing panels for it. I don't have any of the guys that are in the Hall of Fame, but I got a whole bunch of ESS guys for the display that could go around it that I would that I would put on loan.
Dean, loan. He wants them back.
I got an Elaine Bergeron. I could pop in there. I got Doug Emery. I've got Sean Donovan.
Are you going to rotate?
I could rotate them through. I could rotate them in and out. Yeah. I could stop on the way out here. You
do the Canadian exhibit, the Central New York exhibit.
I could do the Central Pennsylvania exhibit.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be Traveling Stars or the Outlaws exhibit. I mean, I got it all, man. I got it all.
You could do the panels that Chuck Heaving drove the price up on for me.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, this is a $750 exhibit. Thank you.
No, I saw the little release that he had out with the photos of their spot in the Hall of Fame. I thought that was really cool. That sprint cars have kind of become much bigger than they have been in the past few decades.
Yeah, I think sprint car racing in New York is the 360 race. It's exploded.
Well, the 360s and now you got the 305s that are
right, and I think that's
creeping in on top of it.
I think the 305s will help 360 sprint car racing because eventually guys are going to say, all right, you know what, I want a new challenge. It's like anything. Sportsman helps. Big block racing. You look at the stars in big block racing. I like Stewie and
you know what? I disagree with what you just said there. Sportsman racing does not help modify. Sportsman racing helps 360 sprint cars.
You think so?
You know what? At this point, I would highly agree with that because there's a lot of guys making that turn.
Well, we had Sammy Reeks come from Sportsman to sprint cars, the 360s. Now the 305 Sportsman guys are going to the 305s just because it costs. It's about the same, I believe, or even less, actually, probably, to run a sprint car because you can buy used chassis and all that stuff. But in terms of helping, like, guys get their feet wet and get talent, it's a lot better than having just the micros or the mini sprints.
Well, yeah, it gives them that
right.
medium between a 600
right.
and a full 360.
Right, you get a 305, so you're driving a full size car and you get that experience. I mean, I think it'll benefit in the long run of the 360. I mean, again,
absolutely.
We've had a lot of guys switch from modifieds. You know, Paul Kinney, was successful this year. Sean Don's the guy that's run modified. I mean, obviously Cobra, Steve Poy. I mean, those guys, everybody knows. Barney, and Sammy Reeks ran Sportsman. But you see that influx into sprint car racing now. Yeah. And I think it's just because guys are looking for a new challenge. They don't want to run every weekend like modified racing. You only got to do, our series is 25 to 30 races, the full point deal. So if you want to do that, I mean, you run less races, you're spending about the same kind of money traveling and all that. Don't get me wrong there, but in the long run, it's cheaper as long as you don't tear stuff up.
And you're not committed to one single place every week.
Right, you get to have fun.
To go to Chris's point,
go to a different place.
By all accounts now, again, you know how it goes. You don't find out until you're at the track, and the green flag drops.
Right.
Who's going to be there and what?
Right.
But it looks to me at this point like Canandaigua Motorsports Park is going to be running anywhere from 25 to 30 305 sprints
that's
next
possible,
year.
Yeah. And Canandaigua also this week announced June 12th, All-Star Circuit of Champions.
Yep.
Will be in attendance. And, of course, ESS will be there on Watkins Glen weekend again.
What a segue, Mike. That was great.
You like that? How
smooth.
With the sprint cars? I love sprint cars, so I'll throw it in.
I was going to say that was a freebie for Dean?
Yeah, that was freebie.
No check needed, Dean. It's all good.
No, I got the All-Stars in there, too. Don't worry.
I know. I'm just busting
410s. I'm excited about that show. 410s. Last time I was there at Canandaigua, it was the Outlaws, I believe, with and the most impressive thing of the day was when Steve Kinzer went from like 8th in the dash and won the dash. Remember, they watered the top, and he went right around the top around everybody. So I remember that race, remember that show. So I'm looking forward to the All-Stars because they got a little bit different qualifying format. I like that better. You get your top 6 guys that are fastest. If you qualify, you get your time back, and you go to the dash. You don't get started outside of a dash spot and then have to race your way into the top 2 because we all know heat racing and sprint cars lined up by time is not going to be all that entertaining. Just like a modified heat race lined up by time isn't going to be all that entertaining. So
usually a modified heat race isn't that
lined up by time isn't that entertaining. No, and that's why the invert. I like the invert idea. I like what the All Stars do. They invert 4, invert 6, depending on how many heats. But then all you have to do is make it through your heat race, and you get your time back. And then your top 6 fastest timers earn their spot in the dash. I think that's the way it should be. If you're gonna have time trials, make it matter. Don't make it better to time 12th through 15th than it is to time. Positions 1 through 5. That makes no sense to me. So that's why I like the All Star format a little bit better for that. But hey, it's racing, and we like both of it. And I think Rich went out to
we got
get our next guest.
We got Mike Lichty coming on the phone.
We'll chat. You want me to chat? Oh, you can do your thing, and then I'll tell briefly what he did.
Get the first drop in there. Again, this is the 31st lap. We go live to tape every Thursday night. The show goes up just about immediately after, so be sure to check us out. If you don't keep late hours, be sure to visit fingerlakes1.com on Friday or visit podcast.fingerlakes1.com. There's a host of local content available, including The Saw starring Tony Sometimes, who beat us last week. Congratulations to them. The Musical Viral Spiral, Chewed Gum, The Lake to Lake Girls, Tech Talk Live on Saturday mornings, Finger Lakes Today, and Upstate Hoops, which follows us every Thursday night, November through March. If you want to see the show as it happens, visit fingerlakes1.tv and look up the 31st lap. For all the show info and connections, be sure to visit www.fingerlakes1.com.
All right, getting to the indoor racing at Baltimore. Balmus and I went down this weekend, and I'll tell you, we had a great time. Right, John?
Yes.
Man of a lot of words over there tonight.
Yeah, I know.
It was a great time. I'm fortunate. I got to say thanks to Lenny Salmons and the crew at Area Auto Len Salmons Productions that lets me be the infield announcer. Got to thank Shane for not wanting to go because that means I get to go. So
if I recall right, you made it into the AARN this week, right?
Yeah, I got a picture of my my big old bald head in there, so it was sweet. But Mike Lichty coming off his win, getting ready to join us here. Also the 2012 ISMA, so super modified champion as well. And I figured since we got one wing guy, we might as well get 2 guys that run cars with wings this week. So
yeah, well, you didn't have one Saturday night. So
no.
He was wingless.
He was wingless. That is correct. That was correct. I would like to see TQs indoors with wings on them, though. I think that'd be neat.
They don't need wings.
That'd be sweet.
Nah.
But joining us on the hotline now here on the 31st lap is Mike Lichty. And Mike, welcome to the 31st lap. Thanks for taking time to come on.
No problem, guys. How you guys doing?
We're doing great tonight.
We're doing good.
How are you doing? Considering you got the big win down in Baltimore, another indoor win for you. I know that's got to be pretty special considering it was the first one.
Yeah, it is. Actually, I'm just slugging away here. Just finished up the day at work, and it was definitely a neat experience winning at Baltimore for being an opening venue for Len Salmons and the whole crew down there, putting a show together at Baltimore. We were actually fortunate enough to win one back in, I think it was 2009. We ended up picking a win up in Providence. So this was pretty special, to bring this home for Larry, the car owner. I've known him for a while and ran indoors for him for, it's got to be going on about 6 years now. And to start 10th and to come up through the pack like we did and pull it off, it was a good deal. I just attrition obviously helped you out in the feature, and Louis and Christopher had their issues and whatnot, but they always say you got to be running at the end to have a chance to win it, and we were the ones running at the end, so it was a good deal.
Yeah, that was a race you had to be very, very patient because we talked about it earlier. The track was very, very tight. It was very small. So there was a lot of that root and gouge, dump the guy in front of you type of mentality, and you just pretty much survived and played it smart.
Yeah, that's what you got to do, and it's no different than Providence or Atlantic City. Realistically, these tracks that they're building inside are, they're not really meant for three-quarter type midgets, but we end up putting on a pretty good show with them. And you just got to take your time, bide your time, and everybody's going to be kind of on edge and running, a little rough. That's indoor racing.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is survival, and once you get to the point, if you're fortunate enough to lead, that's the easiest position to be in indoors, It's so hard to accomplish a pass and make it stick on the outside, and the biggest thing with running indoors is just hitting your marks and staying low enough and being quick enough off the corner. Entry's not so much important as it is outdoors. Exit center off of the corner is the big deal in indoors where you can really pick up on people. So yeah, it's a boxing match though when everybody's going at it, and we definitely saw that in the B main too at Baltimore. So it was a fun time had by all.
I know Teddy didn't make any friends.
Yeah, well, that again,
he doesn't.
Yeah, hey, that's the byproduct of indoor racing, But how did Baltimore compare to say Providence and Atlantic City? I know it's shorter, so how much quicker do you have to be like on the wheel and everything else?
Definitely reaction time a little quicker, but Providence and AC, I think we're still running, high 8-second laps and whatnot. So
yeah, the laps were still, 6 and a half,
quick pace and whatnot. But I was just biggest thing that I was impressed with was how well the track was built. And whatever they did, if they did anything different, I hope they keep it on for Providence and Atlantic City, because I thought it was a much racier track than years in the past that we've had in Providence and AC, and I think it put on for a lot of passing and made a good show. And I hope whatever they did to the track in Baltimore, they do the same for Providence and AC.
You looking forward to Providence? It should be a good time running on New Year's Eve. You get to go race and then basically go have a good time afterwards.
It is. I'm not totally 110% sure if we're actually going to make Providence. Something here has came up in a little bit. We're still not sure. We're definitely going to be at AC, 110% at AC, but we're not 100% sure if we're going to run Providence or not. But if we are there, definitely it'll be a good time. Celebrating New Year's and everything. And I just hope everybody comes out and supports it. It's a tough deal to try to promote indoor race, how the Salmons have been doing it and whatnot, and try to get enough support to keep carrying it on year after year. And obviously they're doing something right, because we keep noticing, the crowds picking up and whatnot. But it would be cool to see a blowout crowd, a sellout crowd at these two races coming up.
Yeah.
Now let's change subjects a little bit here to some. You ran without the wing this past weekend, but we know during the regular season you run with the wing with ISMA, and what it mean to capture that crown?
It was a big deal, and it wasn't just strictly a big deal for myself. It was a big deal for everybody that puts the effort into my racing program. To see them work week in and week out and prepare the cars. And don't get me wrong, I'm the one preparing them myself, but it's a team effort. Everybody pitches in and does their job. Everybody on the crew has a specific job, and to bring it back to Canada was cool, because Dad was the only other car owner that's won a championship with Dave McKnight back in 2001, and to be as close as we were in 2010 and let it slip away, and finally to seal the deal up this year, it means a lot. You know, they're extremely hard to come by. There's been people racing for many years that not only they haven't won a feature event, but they haven't won a championship, and to be, you know, called the 2012 ISMA Champion, it means a lot. So it's I'm pretty proud of that for everybody.
What's it like running the ISMA Tour? I mean, you guys go all over the place. I mean, you're out, you know, Ohio, you come east, all the way east. I mean, how difficult of a travel schedule is that? You know, you got to go to Oswego, et cetera, places like that.
It's difficult, and we're finding that out more and more year after year with teams in New England and Ohio that are really getting drained on the traveling, you know, because, you know, everybody, if it's a 2-day schedule, and we all love 2-day schedules because it makes your time worthwhile going out to these places, but then that takes, you know, meaning you got to take off work on Friday and whatnot, so you're turning a weekend into a 3-day weekend and missing out on work and what. By Thompson, you're pretty well burnt out, and that's only at, I'm going to say 14, 15 race schedule, but then on my case, I run MSA too, probably 5-6 times a year, so I'm right around 20 races, but man, if I had it my way, I'd race every weekend.
I know you mentioned a little bit or talked a little bit about putting a car together, doing something for Oswego. You know, we're here in Central New York. You know, we've all been to Oswego. We love going to watch Oswego and the non-wing supers. What are your plans for that?
Well, we're in the process of building a car specifically for Classic. I'm not really too concerned about running there on a weekly basis because. One, I mean, I just love the cars, the supers with a wing. They're incredible to drive. The racing is exciting, not only for the fans but for the drivers as well. Great competition, and not saying that Oswego doesn't have great competition, because we saw last year with the new ownership and whatnot, it's almost like the place to be. You know, 30 cars on a regular night and whatnot. But I really do enjoy running with a wing, the speeds, and traveling around to different racetracks. You know, there's a lot of racetracks that I enjoy running in the Midwest, and then obviously Oswego is definitely top notch on my list for one of the favorites. But focusing on the Classic, that's a big one that I've been close at for the last 2 years, and I want to seal the deal up here. So I think to do it, best shot is building our own car and putting our own equipment under it. Now, John Nicocher out of Florida and Otto Sitterly, I got to thank them tremendously for giving me the opportunity the last 2 years and having a good shot at winning the show both years. You know, and Otto was actually fortunate enough to win back to back. So I got to thank those guys for the opportunity there. But I'm really looking forward. We got some new things in the work for this. It's going to be a pretty badass looking car, I'll tell you that much.
Nice. In the world of super modifieds, is the Classic the race that defines the career, winning that race, or what is it?
I would think so. I mean, there's a lot of races though that are big races, like the Sandusky High Miler. I think we've ran second there maybe 4 or 5 times. We have led more laps than anybody, you know, in the past 6 years, and that's one that always seems to get away from me. That's a big race in my books. Also, you look at Thompson, Connecticut. A lot of the races, I'd say, you know, the majority of the races that we run on ISMA, it's a big deal to win. But everybody, if you know, people that aren't totally familiar with super modifieds, if you mention super modifieds, what they think is Oswego Speedway, you know. So to win the Classic, I think that'd just be the icing on the cake, and definitely a lot of recognition, and that's one of the main places where super modifieds grew up and were originated. So to get the trophy at that would be a sweet deal. So that's the goals. I think we're gonna, not totally sure what the schedule looks like for next year if we're going to try to defend it. I think we're going to try to, you know, run the whole schedule in ISMA again. But most definitely, I want the Classic. The big Bud 200, going after that one.
Again, chatting here with Mike Lichty, the 2012 ISMA champion, as well as winner down at Baltimore here this past weekend. You know, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into super modified racing. You know, what drew you to those cars? What got you behind the wheel of one of those as compared to, say, other types of pavement racing?
Well, my father, Brad, he's been involved in super modifieds for probably 30 years now. his brother Dennis used to race them, and Dad started racing them in the I want to say the late 70s, early 80s, and after Dad stopped driving, or actually Dad was still driving when he brought on Dave McKnight back in '98, I want to say. They had a great deal of success, and being in the family and traveling around with them, those were kind of the only cars that I knew. I started racing go-karts when I was about 10 years old and ran those. No, maybe it was a little later than that. Maybe I think 12 years old, something like that. Ran those for 3 or 4 years, and then my first full year of ISMA was 17. Ran a partial schedule when I was 16. I wouldn't have it any other way. I really enjoy watching sprint car racing and whatnot, but there's something just about the super modifieds that no other cars like it, and I'm just fortunate enough to be brought up in a racing family and around super modifieds. So that's kind of how I got my start, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
Do you have any dirt experience? You ever run a dirt track?
I do not, but that's one thing I really, really want to try. A good friend of mine, Ryan Conium, he ran the All-Star circuit for quite some time and some World of Outlaw stuff, and I think my driving style would really adapt well to dirt, and that's one thing I've really wanted to get into. And I've actually kind of had an opportunity once in a while, and I think I might make the phone call here shortly. Maybe after the new year. I got a guy down in my neck of the wood that has some 360 dirt sprint car stuff. Might offer him a trade-off deal for put him in one of the backup supers, see if he'll let me run one of the dirt cars, because I think I'd really enjoy it. Might enjoy it too much.
Yeah, a little different feel there, though. Sliding sideways and stuff, etc. But these guys tonight making my show, talking about wanting to run. How you have to run with a wing.
No one's even had to be here. Mike.
Yeah, I know. This is great. Mike, I'm the sprint car guy here on the show. Anything with a wing, I really like. So
Rich had to hold the phone, and I just had to push the buttons.
Yeah, so when you mentioned you like running the super with a wing, you made my night. We had a sprint car guy on before you, so this has been a great show for me. I got to say,
non-wing is where it's at.
Oh yeah, and then John, he's a non-wing guy.
Never mind, John. He's just angry.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about the wings there. I ran some Silver Crown stuff, non-wing stuff, and it's just not the same. It's something about driving it as deep as you can into the corner till one, the car feels uncomfortable, or you feel uncomfortable before the car does, which usually is the case. It's just balls to the walls racing. You look at the World of Outlaws, the All-Stars with wings, 25 lap feature that they're running in 6-7 minutes, and no different than us at Oswego, green to checkered in, 14 minutes pass, and I think personally it puts on a better show, and they're a lot funner to drive. So I'm a wing man.
Yeah, this is my favorite show by far now because he's a wing guy. Mike, we don't want to keep you too much longer, but a couple more questions for you here before we let you go. What's your favorite track to go to and race at, and what's one that you just, it might not be, it's not your least favorite, but a place where, you want to get better or it's tough to get a hold of?
Yeah, I'd probably, I got a couple favorites, and definitely on the top of the list would be Oswego. Oswego is one of them. Also, Sandusky, Ohio. Like I said, we've led numerous laps at the High Miler. We've ran second there 4 or 5 times. We've actually, we've won the prelim show on the Friday night of the High Miler at Sandusky before. Oswego, Sandusky, and Thompson, Connecticut, of course. I mean, that's just a track. Mm-hmm. I don't know how anybody couldn't like that place. I mean, it's 5/8, big banked, and crazy speed. So those are probably 3 of my favorite tracks. The worst track, and I hate it, and it's unfortunate that I don't like it because the facility is absolutely beautiful, and the track itself puts on good racing, but there's just no surface left, and that's Lee, New Hampshire. Mm-hmm. Man, I suck there. I don't know what I do there, or we can't. I mean, we can throw anything at the race car, and if I'm running, 8s and we come home with a deep top 10, it's like a win for me. So it wouldn't hurt my feelings if they took that off the schedule, let me tell you.
Well, Mike, we do want to say thanks for coming on the show. One thing we like to do whenever we have anybody on the show is we always want to give them a chance to thank any sponsors, anybody that helps them out, cars, etc. And if there's a website or a Facebook page or Twitter or anything like that you want to mention to send fans to so they can follow along and see how you're doing, feel free to mention that now as well.
Okay, yeah, no, I just got to thank everybody that puts the time and effort in. First off, Larry Turnbull with Dayglow Racing, and Colin, his son, and then everybody at Paco Transportation and Reed Salvage and Rockway Building Supplies and Stage Door Transportation. You know, without these guys, they make it happen. They support us, and they supported us for a while. And obviously, my beautiful girlfriend, you know, she lets me do this most weekends in the summer, and obviously in the winter in the indoor events. So I just got to say a big thanks to her as well.
Well, Mike, thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate your time, and we hope to see you in Providence. If not, we'll definitely see you in Atlantic City.
Okay, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
Thanks, man.
Mike.
What a night. What a night. Everybody loves the wing. I love it.
Good grief.
Yep. Mark it down. Check it off. Favorite show. Check. What show are we on? 50 what? 56? 56. Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry, John. You'll have your time next week. You'll have your time. You got Brady on. You'll be all excited. And then if we can get a Chili Bowl guy on here, you'll be really excited. And then you'll have your glory. So we're good.
Next week, Brady Bacon.
All right, Brady Bacon next week.
Brady Bacon next week. Good. John is going to pontificate the way that Mike has through the evening about the glories of wingless racing.
Yeah, I'll let him have it. I'll let him have his show. By the way,
he does both.
By the way, I got a sore throat. I might not be here next week. No.
Yeah.
No, we got Darren Pittman on, so he runs with a wing.
You're not missing that.
Not missing that one.
He does both.
I know. Well, midgets.
Very
Chili Bowl, and that's
it. He'll do the
it.
midget. No, he'll do the. He usually goes to DeCoin too.
All right,
which is this weekend, by the way.
Right. So he'll do a couple. So we'll give you that. But
another indoor midget show at the Battle at the Center this weekend in DeCoin, Illinois.
Yeah, it was nice.
Saturday night.
It was a good show. I mean, Greg was good, and Mike was good, and I like talking to the different realms, guys we don't get to chat with, like ISMA.
Well, we're going to carry that through the first of the year with Brady Bacon next week.
Yeah, and Darren Pittman. Yeah, and we're going to try to keep that thing going here in the wintertime. You know, this is the time of the year when we can grab these guys, because a lot of them are just kind of hanging out. If they don't go to New Zealand or Australia and race, you know, you got the downtime and you got a chance to catch up with them. And usually they're open to doing the interview. You know, sometimes in the middle of the summer they're burned out and they just like, listen, I need a night off. Leave me alone. You know, kind of thing.
Don't bother me.
Yeah, don't bother me. So, you know, here in the off season it's nice, and we do appreciate, you know, the two guys that came on tonight, Greg and Mike, and of course, you know, next week we look forward to having Darren Pittman and Brady Bacon, and I'm excited about that show too. You know, it's cool that we got Brady Bacon, and hopefully we'll see if we can get something together for that. You know, we got some connections now with his sponsor. We'll see what we can work out.
Can't say none yet.
No, but we're going to work something out. I did.
Too late.
By the way, I did just get confirmation on some news that I can now discuss, and we're going to change completely from what we were talking about in sprint cars back to modified racing. Now, we talked last week. Bobby Varin is going to Orange
Petruska
County.
Team.
Yep.
Yeah, to the Petruska team, and news this week that the Petruska team is gonna have a couple of Troyers in the stable. So that was that came out yesterday. Yeah, I found that out. I had a nice source for that, and then I wanted to confirm it today. So I was able to confirm it, and able to get it out there. So that's big news. They're still going to have Teos and Bicknells, and the other cars that he runs. You know, will still be the Bicknells, the 19 team, and in the 97. They're both Bicknells, and I believe Bobby still has his own Bicknell. So that's where we're going there. So that was
that's cool.
That was some gossip. Yeah, that's interesting to hear. You know. And I can't wait now, you know, if all that's come out so far is true, that they're going to run the 358s again on the bi-weekly schedule like they used to at Middletown. You know, so you'll have big blocks and 358s. I loved when Middletown did that, and now do I have to say it again, John? I love Middletown. I love Eastern States, but I can't wait to go down.
I'm with Lichty on the thought of Lee.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with that with Middletown.
You're just not a fan?
I'll take an adage from Kyle Petty. They can fill that place up with water and stock it with fish.
Oh, jeez.
They think they have in the past couple of years.
Yeah, I know. There's been a couple. I think Friday night at Eastern States it was filled up with water.
I believe Kyle Petty said that about Dover. Just filling the place up with water and stocking it with fish.
I think if they had stocked Orange County with fish, you could have got some good fishing on that Friday night.
Yeah, that Friday night was pretty good.
It
was a pond. But no, so, you know, a couple other things came out this week. You know, New Egypt is I think it was last week into this week, going to pay $500 to win heat races now for the 358s. So it'll be interesting. And I know they changed the handicapping format, and I had it explained to me, but I don't understand it.
I hate handicapping.
It's really weird how they're doing it, and I'm going to have to look at it and research it this week, and then I'll bring it back next week, and maybe we'll we'll talk about that as part of the show next week. But it's
we'll get into that.
It's diversified.
We got a little more time to work with next week anyway.
Right. What anything in the chat room going on? Anybody have anything?
Just everybody throwing dates around. Outlaws are back at Middletown. You know, you mentioned the ESS show at Canandaigua, Watkins Glen weekend, which is going to be August 10th, 11th.
10th, 11th, 12th, somewhere
AKA Mallets at Knoxville.
And the All-Stars
in Canandaigua.
AKA Tony Stewart's in town.
AKA Tony Stewart's in town,
That's a lot of what's going on in the chat room. It's been pretty busy. And then a lot of people are excited about Varin going to be in the Troyers.
That's cool. That's very cool.
The 500 win heat race is over at
New Egypt.
Nobody's really even brought that up.
I know.
I'm almost certain it's because nobody really even cares.
Yeah, I know.
And I hate to.
No, we're up here and it's down there.
But it's so far away from where we're.
Oh
based.
yeah, I mean, you should be happy. I'm still talking about modified racing, so.
Right? Which is always nice to get.
I know, considering
talking about
tonight's a sprint car show.
When they have 8 cars, it won't matter anyway.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping they do better than that.
Yeah, Sonny reminds us. Happy birthday to Shane Andrews.
Yes.
Oh, happy birthday, Shane.
We did get him through the Twitter feed today.
Did you get him in the Twitter feed? Nice.
Happy birthday, Shane.
Yep. From one bald fat guy to another. Happy birthday.
Yeah, from 2 bald fat guys to another.
You know, it's funny. A friend of mine, Mace Phillips, sent me a picture, and he asked me if he would fit in. And for those of you that don't know, Mace is the bald fat guy. So
yes,
and he's got glasses. So Mace, if you're listeing, see, look, Rich, he could be your brother.
Damn right he could.
Yes, Mace, you fit in for those.
But he makes me look good. So yeah.
You don't even know him.
No, I don't. But I'll still boss his balls.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
I do the same thing.
I'll follow it up with. He doesn't chase like midgets and anything like that.
No, he likes.
Well, he could take John's seat. We're okay with that. Wow, three fat ball guys.
I missed 1 week, and you guys already. Last week I thought you guys were going to kill each other.
He was busting my nuts last week.
Jeez, I could tell just through the audio you guys were ready to brawl. I was waiting for the cameras to go flying. It would have been awesome.
No such thing.
John, I didn't sense that last week.
You guys gonna hug after this is over or no?
No.
Okay, all right.
We don't.
That won't happen.
All right. Well, John, I know you want to do this, so we'll let you do it. He's got the entry list for the most.
Yeah, I printed off the entry list.
He's excited about it. We got about 30 seconds.
6 minutes left.
The current entry list for the True Bowl.
We'll see you next week.
Was updated this morning. As of right now, it's 145 entries. You got some notables in there. Of course, the Swindells were added today.
Shocker! Can't believe they'd be there.
Yeah,
no way.
Imagine that. The first and second place finishers, I guess, were
the last
today.
12 years, basically, right?
Good Lord, they got a lock on that race.
Yep. Which is impressive in itself.
We're still waiting. McCready has not been entered yet.
I heard he's got a ride, though, right?
Yeah, McCready, from what I read, is running the Andy Bondio.
And I read the same thing. So
it must be true because we read it on the internet.
Yep.
I do love that commercial.
You probably
by the
read
way.
it because I probably put it there.
Is that an Allstate?
You know what? I think you're right.
Is that an Allstate commercial? It's like, I read it on the internet. It must be true.
The two Bondio
with the French
entries,
model.
The 2 Bondio entries are not on the list yet, but they will be due in time. Eventually we'll end up probably in the 260s or so.
Yeah, we got a long time to go. It's like Knoxville. You get 100. You get about 60 cars there early on, and then it's just
back to wing cars.
Yeah, so I did that.
It'll get flooded the next couple
real
of days.
quick.
The deadline for the pre-entry is December 15th, which of course today's the 13th.
So we're
but then
you'll
get some stragglers after that. They just got to pay more for their entry. That's
right. So it'll be a good race, and I'm sure you'll listen to the audio all day.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
John, that's the best update that you've done since you've joined the show.
Listen.
Listen.
Oh, I thought he was done.
Wow, bust on John night.
Come on, John.
Jesus Christ. Why do I deal with this crap?
Because you're sick and you love racing just like us other three idiots here.
Actually, I am sick. I feel like crap.
Yeah, well, you got to go to work, so you better straighten up.
Yeah.
I ran into that problem recently, too.
Ran? You didn't run anywhere.
All right, well, I rolled slowly into that problem. I ran a couple times.
Your buddy Glen Stiers is entered today, too.
Very cool.
Can you possibly read this laundry list of names with any more passion?
What? I'm not reading the whole list.
Thank God.
Thank God.
He was just hitting on the notables.
No, whoa. Listen. You know what? We're going to do a live show from John's house. We'll have him record it. It'll be all the Chili Bowl list with the driver's name, hometown, and sponsors. You have that on there?
That's awesome.
And it'll be a 3-hour show.
I'll go through the whole list on the 3rd.
Oh,
listen,
boy.
Why don't you go through the entire list of the finish of the final A main?
Yes.
Yeah,
I will do that.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, we'll trade out. We'll
trade out.
Between now, just between the start
of
the
17th.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the IMCA show,
That's
isn't it?
going to be a busy show because we're going to have to talk about the Chili Bowl because it will be over by then.
And that's the
we'll have 5 nights to talk about. And
we're not going to talk about all 5 nights.
Hopefully, well, we'll go over the winners and stuff.
Yeah,
really.
We'll do the winners list.
Yeah, that'll
we
only take 45
maybe
minutes.
can get in contact with whomever wins.
Well, nice to see if we can get who won. That would be cool.
Get the winner.
Well, maybe
on the
we'll
show.
get lucky and T-Mac will go out and
I know.
for number
Somebody
2
we could actually guarantee
give
to
us
get.
a shot there.
Yeah. Is Larson entered?
He's not in there, yeah, but he
will be. All right.
He's got it right. He's on a team.
None of the Keith Koons cars are in there. Okay. There's a lot of cars missing.
So,
like I said, you got over 100 entries.
Tony Stewart entered yet?
Not yet.
Yeah, he's going to have.
He's got to be in.
I'm sure he will be. He was back last year after hiatus of like 3 or 4 years. Clausen's in there.
Is he in?
Yeah. Brian Clausen's in there. Dave Darwin.
Basically, every guy that's anything with wingless racing.
Anybody that's anything
is there.
Will be there. And there's going to be a couple guys that might not be anything.
But they're going to be there, too.
But they're going to be there, too, because why not?
It's Chili Bowl. It's cool.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
I will go someday.
For the most
I'll
part,
go.
the people on the list right now are pretty much people that I expect to be on there. I guess for me, the one
who's the
surprise was Brad Knopfsinger, who, as far as I know, I don't think he's raced in over 10 years.
That's impressive. This guy, when we got here, was doing this research. He's like, I have not seen that name. I'm like, how the hell do you know? I've never heard the name Brad Knopfsinger, whatever, ever.
You know, he the last several years he's done the Richard Petty driving experience and things like that.
See, I wouldn't have known that.
That's where I knew that name from.
Well, a lot of open wheel people would know the guy's name from the latter 80s into the 90s because he started running at Ascot Raceway Park, wingless sprints and midgets and stuff
Ascot.
like that.
That's an
Ascot,
oldie but a
of
goodie.
course. Old school people would remember Ascot, which is a dirt track out in California that's now a mall.
Yeah, that's
one of those scenarios. A legendary place.
So
he drove in NASCAR, some Cup races and nationwide races and stuff. So he's made a bunch of NASCAR starts.
So Chris, you got the what do you got here?
8:30.
He's in a hurry. He's got to go home. He's got
one.
one. What do you got?
He must have a heavy date.
Well, no, he's got 9 days of freedom left. Is what he's got. Right?
I got some stuff that I got to catch up on that I don't want to have to be up until 2 a.m. again.
That and the.
Well, you've been spitting out video after video and
I know,
and locking dates down and I see you rolling all sorts of stuff out with your. I
was on the phone
videos.
today working on 3 dates in Virginia.
Boy,
nice.
Kimberly Clark is going to love you, Chris and Mike.
Why?
Well, after you with your Continental experience last weekend, now he wants some Kleenex.
Yeah, it was a bad
week. You both
week.
got stock in Kimberly Clark, do you?
Yeah. Only you would know the most random information.
You know
like
what,
that.
though? I'm probably going to start buying some if I'm going to be hanging around with these two.
Yeah.
It's the parent company. You didn't know that?
I don't pay attention. I thought it was Kleenex or something. I don't know.
Well, he must spend enough time in there to read the
he reads
the box.
He's the guy that reads the packages.
Jeez, you guys got to get out more often.
Whoa, you're talking to the wrong guy.
You told me that last week. You
can't
what? Call mail it out.
Whoa. I was already ripping on you in the chat room
last
week, too. I gave it to you pretty good,
And
too.
you know what? And I'm going to tell you the same damn thing I said last week. I don't have to get out anywhere because I get to watch the best every week. Well, you can yawn all you want. Modified
diversify.
Racing, I don't need to.
Diversify. Listen, I'll tell you this. You go to like a good wing track, say Williams Grove, or go to Oswego on
I'm
Saturday.
not talking sprint cars.
You got a good modified track. I'm not saying you don't, but
there's
some other good racetracks. I mean, you went to
there is. I don't doubt that.
How come Utica Rome? You got to get there, man.
That's a hell of a drive on a freaking Sunday.
Oh, geez. Okay, we got to.
What is it? An hour and a half?
We'll have to get into that someday.
Hey, we got a Thursday night, 2 $5,000 to win shows in August. What's your excuse then? Okay, I expect to see you there. I'm calling you out now, and it is December.
I'll tell you what.
Make sure there's no.
Make sure it's not one of his 18 kids' birthdays.
And you line up the credentials because I ain't paying to go into a racetrack.
Oh, jeez. I pay to go to the races sometimes.
You got more birthdays on Thursdays than the entire calendar has Thursdays.
Yes.
It's not even possible.
And we're done.
Yeah.
And Chris says, shut up.
Schlong.
We appreciate everybody. We'll see you back here. Big show next week. Darren Pittman. We'll see you next time on the 31st lap.
Come on and join the fun, log on to fingerlikes www.fingerlakes1.com.